This one's called Back of the Airbrush. It's about the erasure of dissenting views. Metropolitan, we might be, and by no accident of history, displaced by violence, poverty and starvation, slave labour for their industrial revolution. See, we're no fucking elite, quite the reverse. Yes, and we know who we are, and we're not the foot soldiers of bankers, property speculators and free market shysters. We're not those scared white men hiding behind the skirts of the flag, so shit scared of their own insignificance, fearing their culture will be swamped rather than enhanced by the newcomer. And I couldn't care less about the okey-cokey of your futile Brexit dance, but I do care that you'll happily throw our neighbours under a bus to take back the control you never had, to take back control through Trump's free trade deal, while letterboxes once again become the receptacle for hatred, shit and petrol, and if I disagree, I must be a fucking liberal. When if you really understood our own history and culture, you'd be demanding reparation for enclosure. You'd recognise that we're all economic migrants, you men of Kent, Essex and beyond, warriors of industrial towns whose battles inspire us to this day. Don't tell me you've forgotten the deceptions, the lies, the duplicity of king, parliament, church and aristocracy. Let's honour our ancestors cut down at Smithfield and St Petersfield, murdered at Tyburn, and yes, hung, drawn and quartered by those pampered preening shites literally lording over us with their talk of divine rights. Whether displaying our heads on London Bridge or beaten bloody at Orgreave by a state too afraid to wear its own badge. If you really understood our history of being struck down to maintain the power of the wealthy, our football, fairs, music and carnivals, banned by magistrates, damned by clergymen, bled dry by businessmen, don't blame the immigrants, because it wasn't them who obliterated our identity and wiped clean our memory. It was the bosses, the bankers, the lords and the monarchy who took their flag and buried it deep in our hearts, leaving us with Stockholm Syndrome and playground patriotism. That flag of convenience store consumerism, that flag of sweatshop children, that flag of English exceptionalism, that flag of John Bull colonialism, that flag that runs red with the blood of our ancestors. The flag my grandfather carried from Kilburn to East Africa to Burma. The flag that awarded my great-grandfather a military medal, but refused him leave to give his 2-year-old a cuddle when his mother died. The same flag that sentenced his grandfather to 7 years' transportation. He had no land to graze on, so his sheep must be stolen, and he had no land because that flag had stolen the commons. The same flag that left us dying in slums, the same flag that gave us Grenfell 200 years on. So yes, we know we are. We're not the ballast for the right wing's last stand. We won't mouth weasel words about controlling the labour supply while we stoke the flames and watch our comrades die. It's still jam tomorrow, but we're pacified because they're putting the gollywog back on the side today. The cosy nostalgia for the sugar-coated racism of a brand we've forgotten we couldn't afford anyway. Sock puppets on the corpse of ideology, remembering his wing-collared, stack-heeled heyday, stalking the halls of the working class, his sovereign-ringed hand pinching teenage arse. Who's the fucking liberal now, you nonce? So yes, we know who we are. And in case it's not clear, I'm proud of our ancestors, each and every one, so I won't see their achievements stolen by God, Queen and country. They never gave us anything that wasn't won with their own blood, sweat and sacrifice. We're not those cowed, lick-spittle Englishmen siding with the state in our ancestors' oppression, pissed up and pissing on their graves, forelock-tugging amnesiacs who know their place, paying respects to their betters while their boot grinds into your face. And as I look at our generations of suffering, I wonder if it's those who wave the flag who are really the traitors, while forgotten, our ancestors turn in their graves.